So you was there before Joe Rogan, huh?
So this is funny. Joe, if you go back and look on like 15 and 16, and I started on 17, Joe had hair, first and foremost, and he was the guy backstage, the super fan. I'm Joe Rogan, and I'll be here all night interviewing the fighters. And so he wasn't like, it was Bruce Beck and the late, great Olympic gold medalist, Jeff Blatnick.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Right? But Joe comes in, and he was just a fan of the sport. And he was well, as my son said back then when my son was little, he was the fear factor guy. Yeah, Dad, he goes, fear factor. Yes, he does, Cole. You got it, buddy. You'll lose that in a couple of years. It's okay. But Joe just loved it. So when I looked at tapes to prep for my first one, Bear, I saw Joe doing this behind the scenes. But then my first broadcast partner was Jeff Blatnick for a long time. So technically at the broadcast table, I did get there earlier than Joe.
You remember Jeff Blatnick?
Yeah, and I remember even when Joe, I don't remember it maybe in real time, but I remember watching it like on YouTube or something when Joe was talking about an interview saying his first fight that he commentated was because Dana White had gone and watched the video when the Fertittas and him bought the UFC and said, oh, this guy talks about UFC and jiu-jitsu on TV. Incredible. Let's get him. And then he was there because he was doing stand-up comedy. He had done a podcast recently with Adam Sandler. He talked about how he was doing stand-up comedy in New York. And Joe's like multi-talented. I get it. But it's an interesting dynamic how all of you guys
you guys are the best.
You guys are the best ever doing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where did the intro come from? Where did the outro come from? Where did these iconic memories of hearing you talk about a fight getting ready to start come from?
You know what? It's funny because I've been asked that before, Barry, and I never really went in and tried to force a phrase or anything like that. And I was taught that by Bill Clement at ESPN. He said, something will come up. Like Dick Enberg used to always say, oh my, we are live, Brent Musburger to start something. They all have their phrase, welcome friends, if it's Jim Nantz. And I just, one time I was like, here we go. And then all of a sudden there was a reaction and people liked it. And then It's All Over. My It's All Over, again, was just something that made, the fight's over. I made it a bigger deal, but my excitement made it even more fascinating. Yeah. And I took a little bit of the staccato from Gary Thorne, who was my hero as a play-by-play guy in hockey, because he would say, Raymond Bourque has won the Stanley Cup. And so he scores. So I would be, it is all over, just like that. And Lorenzo, out of the corner of my eye, Lorenzo looks over. I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to use this. And then they became iconic, virtually identical. Why did I say that the first fucking time? I have no idea. I mean, if the tail of the tape is all the same numbers, it is virtually identical. But I came up with that one. And on the combo features, you'll remember this. Coming up next, Rampage Jackson fights Rashad Evans right here on the UFC. It was like, coming up next.
You had a bunch of them.
I did.
That gave me chills right now.
I did. I've gotten in trouble with my friends for making fun of them, sending them virtually identical memes of them with something ugly.
I get a lot of them. I get added into it because it's my line. So you got a horse and a something, then you got me. One of the dumbest faces ever, but that's the ones that make good memes, obviously, right?
Oh yeah.
That is crazy. So we're in Japan. We're in Roppongi. I know you've never been there.
Oh yeah.
And Tank Abbott was on the card, and Tank was there with his boys. And who was the redhead who was always with Tank?
I forgot his name.
Rusty or something, but that was this guy.
Are you talking about the little guy?
Well, the little guy too, yeah. So,
okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this fight starts to break out, Bear, in this bar in Roppongi. I also learned that the locals over there will dance for a couple hours and then they literally will sleep like against the wall. Right?
Yeah.
Then they get up like an hour later and start dancing again. Yeah. Another F3 or whatever they were taking back then. I don't think it was F3. Nonetheless, this fight is happening and it's all of Tank's boys, and Tank had to fight the next night. And Tank did the classic, moved his drink over this way, got out of the way, and they just went at it.
Wait. So Tank was in a bar drinking a night before his fight?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it was Thursday. So 2 nights.
I wouldn't doubt it was the night before. This guy used to rock. Tank said it himself. He used to drink on the way to a fight. He didn't care.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
But would he fight like straight up fight though, or is it like pushing fight in the bar?
It got nasty.
Like in what way though? I would love to hear
They were
this.
throwing down.
It was a bar
No
fight.
way.
Yeah.
Straight up bar fight.
Yep.
And
Yep.
Tank was in the bar fight too?
Like not a
No,
push
Tank
fight.
didn't. Tank didn't do a thing.
Oh, okay.
They were throwing. Remember the China White story with Chuck Liddell and everything in London? The fight outside of China White?
Yes, with Tito Ortiz.
Yes,
For
because
the
Tito's
bank
guy.
robber.
Because
Who was the
Tito's
bank
guy.
robber? Who was the guy's name? The robbery guy, right? Didn't something happen?
Yeah, that time that they said Tito got knocked out.
No, don't say that.
That's the fight he's talking about.
Yeah, it is.
I forgot the guy's name.
After
All right,
party,
break it
but-
all down. Break it all down.
So it was Tito's buddy. Man, I'm embarrassed. I can't remember his name. Shorter dude, always with Tito. And something happened at China White that Tito's buddy got knocked out. Oh. And that's how it all started.
Are you talking
And
about
so
Damien, his short buddy named
yeah,
Damien?
yeah. Yep.
he was in London with them during this?
Yep.
Chuck Liddell was there too?
Chuck was there as well. Yeah.
They were together?
It was when Ian Freeman crushed Frank Mir. Oh. It was that one. The brawl at Royal Albert Hall, UFC 38. It was awesome. It was like Gladiator. It was like, really was like the Gladiator.